Hey guys, today we're going to teach you how to make a bioactive lychee terrarium. No terrarium is complete without a custom background. So start by arranging your cork or what else you want to use as your background pieces into the desired pattern or look. This took me a couple of tries. I had some very nice pieces with some nice Leica on them. However, it just wasn't working for me. And by the end of this, I ended up finding something that I was very satisfied with. Once you have your desired pattern, it's time to foam. The foam will hold the cork in place. My design in particular is creating tunnels where the leeches can hide. Yes, this may make it difficult to see the leeches in the future. However, I'm more for the comfort of the animal than my personal enjoyment in watching the animals. Make sure to foam every crevice. This will ensure that nothing comes loose down the road. Once your foam is applied, let it cure for 24 hours before starting to carve. I like to use a steak knife to carve the foam in my backgrounds. This is particularly because an X-Acto knife needs to be super sharp, and if you have to keep on breaking your blades, with a serrated edge, you don't really have to worry about that. Make sure to carve every single aspect that has foam on your background, or else your silicone will not stick to it. Once you're done carving, I like to take a shop vac to my background just to get any excess dirt off or any excess foam off, so that when you're siliconing you don't have any extra debris that you don't want part of your background. I use GE Silicone 2 for my backgrounds in black. This is because if there's any bald spots, you won't really notice with the black, and also the GE Silicone 2 is probably the safest. Rub around all of the crevices with the foam with the silicone. Make sure to wear gloves. This will leave a mess and it won't come off for days. And just make sure you get every single crevice where you want your cocoa fiber. Now just pour cocoa fiber right over your background. Make sure the cocoa fiber is dry or else it won't stick properly. And make sure you cover every single crevice that you've applied your silicone to. Once you're done, just pat it down while wearing a glove, just to ensure that it sticks properly to the silicone. After you've given it about half an hour to start to dry, Turn your terrarium back upright and give it a couple hits so that it knocks off the loose cocoa fiber. To make sure that I get most of the loose cocoa fiber off, I then pass a shop vac over the background as well, and it also picks up any of the loose cocoa fiber that fell to the terrarium floor. Now it's time to add your hydro balls. I used a 9-quart bag for this, and it was sufficient enough for my liking. If you were to have a very humid environment, you may want to add an extra bag to a terrarium this large. If you noticed, I actually added my terrarium back to its original spot. This is mainly because once it's filled up with all the plants, the soil, and the additional cocoa fiber, it's going to be rather heavy. So constructing it in place actually makes it a lot easier, so you don't have to worry about carrying something so heavy. Once you've leveled off your hygroton, it's time to add your weed blocking layer. I use a fiberglass window screen, and all I do is I measure it in place, cut it with an X-Acto knife, fold the corners inwards, and just insert it in. Now it's time to add your ABG mix. I get my ABG in Canada from Jurassic Pet Products, which is available at most pet stores. This terrarium took 2 of these bags. I sifted it around and ensured each corner was held down properly and that the soil did not mix with the drainage layer. Don't forget to scape your terrarium. What I like to do is make little tunnels and paths into the actual background. As you can see here, I'm making it look like the cork bark is actually a fallen tree in the forest, and that this is a little tunnel that was actually made by the Leachianus in the wild. Now I add the isopods to the mix. This is only half of the cleanup crew. However, these have been around for years with my particular collection and have been cultured in my cages. So I mix around the soil with them. This is not necessary. They'll find their own paths and do whatever they like. However, I like to just make sure that it's nice and mixed up. And because the actual soil that I used with them was a little bit dry, I wanted to make sure that it didn't mess with my overall theme and look of the cage. So it's going to take a little bit for this cage to fill up with poop. So what I like to do is add in some magnolia leaves. This gives the isopods, as well as the springtails that I will add later, some food to eat in the meantime. Now it's time to add some more hardscaping materials. The background corks are nice, however they're not enough, especially for a breeding pair of Leachies that are going into this cage. This took me a couple of attempts to actually get it to something that I liked, specifically because no cork is the same, no cork looks exactly the way you like it, but trial and error, just keep on going and you'll sooner or later get something that you like. I also added a couple of plants to this terrarium, in particular Wandering Jew, mainly because it's one of the most hardiest plants out there, and a big flopping Leachianus won't easily kill these plants. Now it's time to add my springtails. Easiest way to do this is fill up your container with your culture with a little bit of water. Springtails are hydrophobic, so they actually float on the top of water, and just pour them into the terrarium. I'm trying to keep a little bit still in this container so that they can breed and create more springtail cultures, but I did use quite a bit because lychee poops are huge. Now, just add your Leachianus to the cage or any other reptile and watch them enjoy. You don't have to actually clean their cage as much. However, with leechies, as you know, they poop all over the glass. That's something that isopods and springtails don't clean because they can't climb glass, which sucks. And there you have it, a fully bioactive Leachianus terrarium. What types of videos would you like to see in the future? Comment down below and let me know.
If you like this video, be sure to drop a like down below, and comment if you have any questions. Be sure to subscribe for future content. Thanks!